Welcome back, everybody. What's happening? Me? Well, funny you ask that. Well, since I've been gone, the first things I guess I tried to do is working on the balancing system for my game. And well, at this point, I'm currently gave up on this idea completely because there's a lot about this game, especially about the combat I want to change before I get into that place, especially how my enemies are behaving. Maybe you realize they're behaving a little bit different than they used to be, but if not, that's fine because these are still due to change, and I'm just gonna keep this cooking until I feel like there's something solid I can show you guys at. So while that's I guess getting prepared in the back burner, the thing I want to do most at this point is working on the boss mechanics. So let's do just that. And now for the moment of revelation. Without further ado, I'm gonna bring our first boss, and there she is. Now ain't she a beauty? Wait, what's that? You think it looks just like the regular green enemy? Now I'm gonna pretend you did not actually say that, because they look nothing alike. There's a big, in fact, a huge difference between these two. Well, you don't believe me? Fine, fine, I'll bring it so you can see it for yourself. And there it is. Do you see it now? Do you feel embarrassed? You know what? It's fine. I'm gonna cut you some slack. I'm pretty sure you did not mean it. Just make sure it doesn't happen again and we're golden. Now, is there anyone else with a question? You, the fine looking gentleman with the stash at the back? Hello, sir. It's Jatif Sobs. First of all, I wanted to commend you for your game. It looks spectacular. Now, what I wanted to ask you is, besides these massive differences in their visuals, is there going to be any other difference we should watch out for? Excellent question. Besides the obvious stuff like more health and presumably damage, boss enemies will have entirely different combat mechanics and movement styles. They will serve as the squadron leader for their smaller counterparts, and they will have the ability to talk to a player via text boxes. Now, this is going to be the end of my presentation, and I thank you everyone for being here with me today. Right now, I'm working on the bosses, and the first thing I'm going to try to implement is their movement mechanics. Now, they're gonna have more than one movement mechanic, and they're gonna switch over between these movement styles to surprise the player, and it's gonna require you to get adapted to all of these movement styles for you to pretty much win the boss battle. So let's just begin, and the first move set I wanted to do is just circle around the player so it can just what the Alright, now as you can see, it's now moving in a perfect circle around our ship, which is fine, but when we start moving, it will, depending on our velocity, it can get locked if we're going up, and if it's also in the up cycle of the circle, it can get out of the vision bounds, and if we're it's going at a different velocity than we are, we're going up, and if it was going down, it looks like it's going so fast, and if we're going up and it's going up, it looks like it's not moving at all. And these problems, I feel like I can just fix it by just making it go to specific locations instead of just moving it around the circle. And if it, the specific top and the bottom of these were just perfectly matching with the screen's I guess height and width, it will probably look more like an ellipse, but I feel like that will just make it look better, and would be better for the gameplay purposes. So I'm gonna try that. Alright, now you can see that it moves in an ellipse around our ship, and it's not going trying to be a specific distance from our player, but it's just moving in this specific location on the screen, so it cannot be pushed out of the screen bounds. But for now, if we're going up, and if it's in the up of this ellipsis cycle, it will most likely touch us, and it just brings back some bad memories from the past. So I'm gonna try to fix that as well by making it avoid hitting us. Okay, now I've changed the movement system, and when I'm not moving, it's moving around us in an ellipse just like it used to, but if I'm moving in some direction, it's gonna try and stop getting closer to us more than 90 degrees, or less than 90 degrees I guess, and it's gonna just change the direction. So if I'm going up, it's also gonna do the same. If I'm going in a diagonal, it's also going to do the same. And I like this version a lot better because it respects my personal boundaries a lot more, and it looks like it's trying to stay behind us, which is also I guess a fair dogfighting strategy. So that's neat. Alright, now I gone ahead and complete the next two movement sets, and I glued them together, so right now it can change between different movement sets. Let's just bring the boss, and this is the movement set that we all know, and it's just basically just rotating around us, as we used to tell him. And after we just probably fire and decrease his health to some certain number, and it happened, I guess. Now it's just in the second phase where it's basically sticking to the right side of the screen, and it's just, just dives below us to go on the other side, and it's just gonna be shooting at us from the distance. Let's just take his health down a little bit so we can just go to the next, I guess, phase for the moment. And the next phase, and I know the transitions are quite janky right now, is where the boss just sits in the middle and does nothing. Is what it looks like, but it's gonna do some like attacking movements for sure. And right now, unlike the other phases, the camera is focused on the boss and instead of the player. And when we're trying to get out of his boss's range, it will just basically chase us and to just keep us in the screen's boundaries. Let's just lower his health again to make him change phase. And it's sometimes does this like dodging movement when it's an elliptical phase. I guess we did not see that one. And it basically makes it change direction, so it can just like shoot us from like a different angle. And it will also be like kind of, I guess, weird for the player to just eventually have to just re-rotate all this like movement, I guess. Aiming range, it's right now doing it a lot because I also implemented an intensity system. And what it does is basically the lesser is, I guess, his health get, the more, I guess, intense is going to be movement speed, and like this direction change and all this stuff is going to be. So well, we killed him, and that's good. Okay, I'm now trying to work on some like shooting mechanics for the boss enemy, and well, I just opened the FPS and statistics in the top right. I did not really do any optimization yet. I'm not still sure like how I kind of do that. I did not really research how to do profiling and like optimization and all that stuff. I will get there probably in the future, but you guys can see the FPS is around like, I guess that was like 400 if I was doing absolutely nothing, and if I'm like doing stuff it just goes around like 300, I guess. But if there are like more enemies in my wave spawner system, I realize it can go down to 200. I was not really that worried about the 200 FPS whatever, but like right now my boss can shoot a lot of bullets. Now it's probably going to need to shoot a lot less bullets or whatever. That is the idea, but yeah, well, I don't know how much bullet is going to be too much, but like we need to do some optimization for this. Let me just bring the boss, and it's like shooting like crazy at us right now. So you can see that the FPS is dropping like all the way to, I don't know, sometimes like 40 FPS, and that's clearly like 50 FPS right now, not intentional. So I'm going to have to do something for that. Okay, I now heard about this like concept of object pooling, and Unity has like a tutorial about it apparently, and it says, it describes what object pooling is. It's a great way to optimize your projects and lower the burden that is placed on the CPU when having to rapidly create and destroy game objects. It then gets a little bit on the nose and says this is particularly useful when dealing with bullets in a top-down shooter game. And it just continues into a tutorial. It just says the following example of a space shooter game developed by a dumb heck of a game developer is an ideal candidate for implementing object pooling to help to optimize the project's runtime. I'm not really sure why Unity is being so rude and mean against this like poor game developer. I'm pretty sure he's trying his best. All I'm saying is it can happen to the best of us. Now, I'm just gonna give this a shot and see if it's gonna help me or not. Okay, I implemented the system for the object pooling, and I deactivated it. So right now we're just seeing it in the regular version, and here I started the game, and you can see the FPS is dropping down to like 70 FPS. I also want to use the profiler to get a better understanding of what's going on. But it seems like the FPS is usually around 100, and it drops down to like 70 from time to time because it has to destroy a lot of bullets and create them back again. Let's just click on the analysis and the profiler, and I'm just gonna let this boss kill us in the back while we start looking here. Let's get down to the memory section, and here, let me just, I guess, make this a little bit bigger. We can see we have around like 2,500 this game object. It goes above that and then it gets destroyed back to the 2,000 range. So we have around that much, I believe. Without the bullets, I think we have just like 160 scene objects or game objects. And each frame we just destroy around like 6 to 4 kilobytes of I guess bullets, and then we have to create them back again. So we gotta allocate some memory and collect these as a garbage memory to be done with it, and that is affecting our FPS. So as a comparison, we can just enable the bullet pooling or object pooling for the bullets, and I set for default like 1,000 bullets, and maximum I went like 4,000. That's, I believe, what it used to like on average go up to, but this might be too much. But honestly, right now it's like in instantiating a bullet,
each frame, which is obviously too much. It's not going to be, there's going to be some delay for like each bullet spawn, but it could be still like a lot of bullets spawning from like a lot of different spawn points, so it could, you know, it potentially get into some 4,000 bullets range is what I am assuming. So we can see the FPS, it's around like, I guess 150 FPS, and it's not like dropping down to like, I guess 70 like it used to do. So like, I guess now with this object pulling, we use more memory, but we have like more consistent FPS. It's not dropping down as much, and it's around like, I guess 140, 150-ish. Let's try to look in the profiler again, and I'm gonna let it kill us again in the background. So we can see we have way more game objects, around like 3,949. It seems to be just settling around here and it's not moving anymore, so I guess we have enough bullet, but we still I guess creating some stuff, even though it's not as much. It used to be like 4 kilobytes to 6 kilobytes, and here it's usually just like 368 bytes, but it just occasionally goes to like 1 to 2 kilobytes. But from what I've seen, after I wait around for a bit, it just settles down. I might need to look into what's going on for like each of these. The 368 byte is something I probably can also like I guess decrease into some numbers, but for now it's way better than it used to be, so I think I'm just gonna keep it like this. And if we wait for a few, I guess, more seconds, we can probably see it's just going to settle around the 368 byte. Eventually, that's what I've seen what it does, but you know, I guess we'll see, right? And I feel like it's settled right now anyways, and you know, the kilobytes, the ones are way less than it used to be. So yeah, I'm gonna stop it right here. So right, and this is where we are at right now, and I'm happy with this I guess object pooling results, at least.
Alright, now for the combat for these, I guess, bosses, I'm gonna make an entirely separate video. I think this video is long enough. Anyways, as you can see, I already begun, but you know, there's gonna be a lot more stuff to do and a lot more problems we're gonna be facing, I assume. So, well, wish me luck and see you later.